Wait a minute, don't stop. Get it, kid. Who are you? Go away. You don't even go here.
Who are you?
Okay, so far we've done 2 changes to the graph. We've changed that amplitude and we've changed the period. So right now our equations look like this. Y equals A sine BX, or that could be a cosine in there. So what I want you to be able to do now to start notes off is, if I give you a graph, can you write the equation for it? So writing the equation is just deciding, well, is it a sine or a cosine to start with? Find the amplitude, find the period, and figure out the b. So here's what I'm talking about. Write the equation. Yeah. Who are you looking for? Betsy's right over here. She's got the brightest shirt on in the room. Okay, so writing the equation is just basically filling in the 3 spots. Guys want to stop talking in the back? Okay. You need to figure out the A. A is our amplitude. What's the amplitude on this graph? 1. The distance from the axis to the max. So the amplitude is 1. So the A is a 1. Now we've got to figure out the B.
Wait, I thought you were going to put A.
I didn't put amplitude. I said A. So the A, the distance is a 1. I'm not saying amplitude. I'm saying what A is going to be when I write my equation. Okay. All right, I need to figure out the B. The B is not visible here, okay? B is hidden inside of the period length. What's that formula we use to figure out the period?
Pi over B.
2 pi divided by B has to equal the period. What is the period on this graph? Pi. Do you agree that it's pi?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I make that pi over 1, can you do the algebra and solve for B?
And now pi is B because
Pi is B. I didn't say pi was B. The period is pi. Because it's starting at 0 and finishing at pi, so the period is pi. And the formula to get period is 2 pi divided by B, because I need to know what B is so I can plug it back in my equation. So I'm doing cross products here. So pi times B equals 2 pi times 1. If I divide by pi, what's my B? 2. With those 2 pieces of information now, can you write the equation for that graph right there?
Yeah.
Okay, what graph is it? Is it sine or cosine? So what's the equation?
Wait, how do you know that it's sine?
How do I know that that's sine?
because up and zero.
It's the snake. It's not the cereal bowl is cosine, the snake. Oh, snake. You guys are talking snakes today. Snake is sine. So y equals sine of 2x. Done.
Okay, so just by doing that, you can figure out.
All I need to figure out is A and B.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Try another.
Sure gets worse.
It does. Not today, but... So again, all we need to do is figure out, first of all, which function it is, find the A, find the B.
Okay, we know it's cosine. We don't really know that.
It's sine.
That's highly weird.
Okay. It is definitely a sine. Do we know the A? Let's start with the A. For A is easy to pick out of the graph. -2. Do we agree that A is going to be a -2? Because it's flipped over. The distance is 2, so the amplitude is 2. But because it's flipped, I know my A value is negative 2. If I had asked what's the amplitude, you'd say 2. But what's the A value in the equation? That's a negative 2. So the A value can be negative. Amplitude is always positive. Okay, the B. We need to calculate the B. The B doesn't show up on the graph. You got to do the formula and solve for B. So it's always 2 pi divided by some B number has to equal the period. What the period come out equal to? Pi over 3. And now if you just do cross products, you'll figure out what B is. Yep. So I just did cross products. Divide by pi. The B value is a 6. So now let's write your equation. So Kenley, what kind of graph do you think this is now? You are correct. So what would the equation for this sine graph be?
It'd be 2.
Negative 2 sine of 6x. We'll go one more.
So when it's a cosine, though, it's like...
Cereal bowl, yep. Fill it up.
Alright.
Yes?
Will you do cosine of pi over 3?
B is not. The period is pi over 3. But B is not equivalent to the period. B is hidden inside of the period. Okay, last one of these before we move on to the new stuff today.
I'm willing to deal. It's a cosine, Justin. It's cosine.
It is cosine.
You know it.
Wait, why is it cosine?
Because it's got a lump.
Doesn't start on the axis. It starts at a min here. So what's my A value here? It's a negative 3 because it's flipped over. B we will calculate. The formula you use to calculate B is,
Why is it negative 3? How do you know?
because it's flipped over. Cosine's normal graph, if you had your notes from yesterday.
So it starts at negative 3. If it were to
Yep.
start at positive 3, it'd just be 3.
Here's our normal cosine. High, bowl.
Oh, okay.
And it's definitely flipped over. So we're taking these two graphs and we're doing different things to them. Okay, so it's flipped over. So now we got to figure out what B is. So 2 pi divided by B equals what value? 5 pi over 3. And then we do cross products. So the B is a 6/5. So our equation then is going to be y equals?
Negative 3 cosine 6/5 x.
Very good. Okay. On to new stuff. A little discovery.
What we're doing today?
Nope. Adding to it. So we've made them taller and shorter. We've made the period longer and shorter. Today we're going to shift. So, we're going to explore. Y equals C plus A sine BX. I don't know.
We're exploring new things.
We're exploring new things. So the added thing, we're going to add a number to the function. Let's see what that does. So you don't have to have your calculators, you can just look at mine. But if you have a calculator and you want to graph a couple, you can. So let's see, I got y equals, I want sine x, just going to leave normal sine x. I still have my window going from 0 to 2 pi. Yep, I just have sine x. Now let's go with 2 plus sine x. 2 plus, so I'm adding a number to the function.
I don't like that.
What happened? Took every single value and shifted it up 2.
Yeah.
Correct? There's my normal. Now, instead of starting at the origin, it's starting at 2 and going up from there, and then coming down. So what's that going to change when I make my tables? Well, besides everything.
Why?
My axis values are no longer going to be 0. My axis values got shifted up. So then I go up from the axis, whatever the amplitude is, come back to the axis. So my new axis value is right here at 2.
How do you know if it's sine or cosine?
When it looks like a snake, it's sine. Okay? So what if I had -3 plus sine x? What should that do to the graph?
Hold it down to 3.
Should push it down 3 and start there. Down at -3 is going to be my new starting axis value.
So how are we going to tell the difference between cosine and sine if that's not on 0, 0?
It's still a snake. I mean, I can still see it's not a bowl. It's not a cereal bowl. Okay? I can still tell that that's sine because it goes up, comes past that point, goes down.
So, I have a question.
Yep.
So if we're like on a test and we want to see if we like have it right,
Mhm.
to graph it.
Yes,
kind
you
of
could.
see. Okay.
All right, let's try a cosine one so you can show yourself that it does look like cosine. So go back and make that cosine x. Get rid of the third one. Clear. And go 2 plus cosine x. And you'll see cosine, and then it'll shift that cosine up. And you can still tell it's a cosine versus a sine because of its shape. See how cosine looks like a cereal bowl and not the snake? And it's taking the whole graph and shifting it up.
Oh, yeah, well, it depends on how your window is set.
Yes, it does.
If I'm making joy then
Okay.
Oh, what?
So, our explorer was seeing what this C value does to the graph. And the C value, C, is called the vertical shift. What that C value is going to give you, it's going to give you all of your axis values. So C is equal to your axis values. So on our pattern, when we say axis, if there's a vertical shift, we use that number as the axis. If there's no vertical shift, then it's 0. It's back on the x-axis. Okay? We're going to try them. Can I get rid of this? Let's do like, I'd say 2 or 3 of these will be good.
It's like confusing though, because if you have the C and it changes, then it kind of feels like it switches to cosine and it goes.
Nope.
Okay, there's no reason.
Nope. So let's try this. Y equals,
Ooh, that's really cool.
3,
We're on example 4.
oh, are we? 3 plus 2 cosine
Example 2.
x. And you should get in the habit of writing down amplitude, period, vertical shift. Because I don't have a worksheet today either, so. Well, actually, I do have part of a worksheet. So, where do I get my amplitude number from? The 2. The number that's multiplied by the function. So my amplitude is 2. So remember that's axis to max and axis to min. Period. What's the normal period unless we change it? 2 pi. She's looking at the b. The b is 1. We're going to divide by 1, so it's just 2 pi.
Oh, got it.
That's where you looked at b. And now, does this graph have vertical shift?
Yes, of a positive 3.
Of a positive 3. So, tables.
Yeah, how come your period is because there's no...
The b is a 1. Yep, you're dividing by 1.
adding on more, or
We've got one more thing to do on Friday.
I'm not gonna be here on Friday.
Oh, well, you're going to have to watch YouTube. All right, so what I like to do on these, the vertical shift of 3, I like to put that in as my new axis, and I do that with a dotted line. Is it necessary? No. Does it make things much clearer? Yes. So my vertical shift of 3 means my x-axis got shifted up. There's my new axis values. Oh, yep. Yep.
Are we gonna write more than one table? Or
We're doing 2, yep. Okay. So, x values. Where is my first x value? X values? 0. Where do I get my last x value from?
B.
The period, which is 2 pi. So this thing's going to go from 0 to 2 pi. And this is easy to average to get the middle. We got pi. We got pi over 2. And we've got 3 pi over 2. Okay. Cosine's pattern in words. Where does cosine start? Max, min, axis, max. Where are my new axis values at? The 3. The vertical shift is my new axis. So this axis is at 3 and 3. So this is when I cross this line here, that's what I'm calling an axis.
So that's at 3.
That's at 3. But you told me it has to start at its max. How far above the axis am I going? 2 above the axis. If I go 2 above the axis, where am I going to be at? 5.
Sugar.
Oh,
Wait, slow down.
I am. I'm.
So you would just add the amplitude on the axis?
Correct. So where would my min be at? 1. Why 1?
Because it goes down to...
Goes down 2 from the axis. And it's going to finish back at 5. So if you can remember that your vertical shift is your new axis, then it's the same stuff as we have been doing for a couple days. So see how I kind of made the sketch first, then went back to do the table? Kind of helps a little bit. Second table now should be easy.
Wait.
Okay. Can I what? Chill. Chill. Okay, I've got that. I know this definition.
I didn't read that one.
Am I done chilling yet?
No.
Oh.
Okay, you can quit.
Okay, so x's. How hard is it to get my x's?
It's not the same thing.
Same thing, but
Negative.
a negative.
I thought you were
Stop it! I did too.
Kind of funny. Okay.
Wait, why is that negative?
Can you imagine the people that are...
Oh, because I looked at that. I looked at that. Negative 2 pi. All right, the y's on cosine. Jeez, I got to talk over a drill now.
It sounds like a weed whacker.
We're hoping it's...
Good one.
Okay, the y's on cosine.
Not a good one.
Axel.
Anybody? I'm looking for the rule.
Same one.
They're the same. Start here, comes back to the axis, down to the min, axis, max. So they're exactly the same. That line of symmetry makes the y's very easy on cosine.
Okay, and then the y values are the same because it's cosine.
Because it's cosine, yes.
So we're doing a sine one next, right?
We're going to do 2 more, I think, because you need some practice. I said 2 or 3, and I'm thinking 3 is best.
The same length as that one.
They're the same. So y equals, let's go, sine 2x minus 1.
Does it matter that it's at the end?
I put it there for a reason, to see if you could pick it up. Is that vertical shift?
Yeah.
It's a number subtracted from the function, so it is our vertical shift. I could put it in front and have it as -1 plus that function, but I stuck it at the end because the book will do that to you to see, oh, do you know what that is?
No.
That is vertical shift hiding on the end of the equation. Yes. Amplitude's playing hide and go seek on us. What's my amplitude? 1. 1 times the sine of 2x. Period.
2.
That's the b. What's the period?
Pi.
How do you get pi?
2 pi divided by 2.
2 pi divided by the b number. Here's my b, which will simplify down to pi. So it's shortened it up. Vertical shift,
-1.
-1. You could say down 1 or you can say -1. I'll take either one.
So the vertical shift for -1 is the -1 at the end. Can I go with the beginning?
It could.
Okay.
So
You're throwing me off.
we have a new axis. The axis is down at -1.
It really does.
So there's my new axis. I'll put it in red. Yeah, how far up and down are we going from that axis? 1. We're only going 1 above and 1 below because my amplitude is 1. So I need to come down 1 more here. Okay, x's. Where do I start my x's at? 0. It's going to finish at pi. You know the last one's going to have some ugly fractions in it. So we got pi over 2 in the middle. These are easy. What's in the second spot? Pi over 4. I'm assuming you can do these because these are easy numbers. Is that too big of an assumption?
What do you mean you? It's not like you were going to say you weren't going to say anything.
In here? What's halfway between 1/2 and 1?
Okay, everyone's just 1 pi over
3 pi over 4.
Okay, the whole chit-chatty, the group I was talking about yesterday, zip it.
I'm actually not a part of it this time.
Oh, guilty by association.
I was just trying to tell Katie before.
Okay, now we are doing sine. Sine, what's its pattern?
Axis.
Axis,
Max.
max, Where's my axis values? Where are my axis values?
-1.
-1. So if I'm at -1 to start, and I'm going to my max, how high up am I going to?
Your amplitude is 1, if you're going to like 0.
I would be going to 0, because my amplitude is 1. If I go 1 up from -1, I'm going to be at 0. If I go down 1 from -1, where am I going to be at? -2. So here's my sketch.
Wait, will you go over that again?
Yep. So I'm starting at -1. You good with that, the axis?
Okay.
And my amplitude is 1, so I'm going to go 1 above my axis. So if I'm at -1 and I go up 1, that brings me to 0.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, -1 plus 1. 0. And then -1 minus 1 is going to bring me down to -2. Okay, second table on sine. So we know the x's are all just the opposites, easy peasy. I'm going to challenge you on the fractions next example. Okay, axis values never change, so I've got -1 to start, -1 in the middle, -1 to finish. Now you can either make the graph first and then fill in the table, or you can fill in the table and then make the graph.
Table graph.
Table graph. So what's the rule for the y's on sine? Same or switch?
Switch.
Switch. So what's going to be here? -2. Then 0. Why? Because from here, if I'm doing sine, it doesn't jump back up. It's got to continue going down.
Oh, I'm still stuck on the other ones where you just switched to signs because there was only one.
Oh.
So.
Wait, so yeah,
Because from here, if I'm doing sine, I got to keep coming down. And then back up. And then back up. And then here. Sine switches the max and min. All right, last one. I'll throw everything at it that I can. Same amount of space.
Yeah, this is example 6.
Oh, and what's my third one of those? That's what I'm stuck on. You can pick sine or cosine.
Sine.
Sine.
Actually, well, she already wrote it down. So.
Okay. Pick out the 3 key values before we get started. Amplitude, period, vertical shift.
Okay, first things first.
First things first. Amp.
4.
4. But remember, because it's a -4, what are we going to do?
Everything's going to be flipped.
We're going to flip the graph over. Flipping means max and min switch. So 4 with a flip, period, is 2 pi divided by what? 1/3.
Oh.
Oh, this is going to be easy. Dang, one of ugly fractions. If you flip that over and multiply, what are you going to get? 6 pi. Oh, I wanted that to be challenging. I'm disappointed. Vertical shift. Well, I want you to, I need to challenge you, so when they show up on the homework, you won't be complaining. -3. So that means our axis is down here at -3. All right.
Oh, okay.
So you want to see what he got to do after
That's going out to 6 pi. That's going to go to -6 pi. I've got an axis down at -3. how far above and below that axis do I need to put tick marks?
4.
I need to go 4 above and 4 below because my amplitude's 4. So I need to go up to here, and I still need to go down 4 more. Katie? Thank you.
Katie.
Let's make our table.
Let's make the table.
Are we gonna go above the?
Yep, 1, because we had to go up 4 from -3, so it's going to take me up to 1. I wanted the x's to be a challenge, and they're not. I know. 0 to 6 pi.
It's a sign. Get it? Sign.
Oh,
Oh, wow. And you're so funny.
Wow.
No one laughed.
Matt Casey did.
Actually, that really doesn't say much.
okay, what's in the second spot? Should not be challenged by this one at all. 3 pi over 2. How about the fourth spot? 9 pi over 2. You add them and you divide by 2. You're averaging, so it's 9 pi over 2. Okay, we are doing sine. Yes,
You're going way too fast.
I am not.
Oh,
Yeah,
I am not.
Yell back.
You shall not
Am I really going that fast? I don't feel like I'm going fast.
For me, it is kind of fast today.
Well, yeah, when you're sitting there looking at your phone and reading text messages and trying to take notes in between, I can see where you might be a little
This
behind.
is all on Facebook.
Okay, sines pattern, normal pattern, sine, give it to me.
X,
X, max, X.
If you would just shut up for 2 seconds, I could
Okay.
kind of write it.
Because we have a flip, what should I do?
We now gotta flip.
The
Go
min
ahead.
and the max.
Go ahead.
Min,
Shit.
max. Okay, where is my axis at?
-3.
-3, so right there is a -3, there's a -3, there's a -3. Okay, so I'm starting on -3. I'm going to my min. Where's my min going to end up being? -7, because I'm going down 4. Where's my max going to be at? Positive, well, I'm back at the axis. Max is going to be at +1, and finish at the -3. Sine with a flip. And now your second table. So 0, -3 pi over 2, -3 pi, -9 pi over 2, and -6 pi. Yep, so axis values don't change, so this is the -3, -3, -3. Sine, do I keep the y's the same or switch them?
Well, it's fine, so you switch them.
Switch them. So instead of a -7 being here, I'm going to have
A 1.
a 1, and the -7 will come here. Okay, your assignment, I have a little worksheet with where you write the equation of the graph, and then you're going to make a couple of tables here. I gotta find it. Let's see. 4, 2. Let's see, that's too many. I don't want all of those with those equations. I'm going to cut this back a little bit. I'm going to go with 3 of these graphs. Because I don't think you need to do a ton of these to get the idea. 5,
I don't even have one at that.
Yeah, I had
4,
one,
2.
and I had one problem on that.
Let's see, 39.
4. Look at my planner today.
we're gonna go with 39.
Whoa. What? No worksheet?
Yep, a worksheet and these.
Mathematician.
40,
What?
Mathematician on this one.
oh, I want 37.
Are you giving us extra homework if we don't have?
No, I'm just giving you, I'm shortening it up.
Oh, wait,
And
I was hoping for a worksheet, Schwartz.
you're getting both. 38. 37, 38, 39 in the worksheet.